Imagine walking into a psychologist's office, expecting to meet one of the greatest minds in history. But before you even sat down, a fluffy dog quietly walked over, looked directly into your eyes, and decided whether you were nervous. That wasn't fiction. It really happened. Her name was Jofi, and she became one of the most unusual therapy dogs in history. Our story begins in Vienna, Austria, during the late 1920s. At this time, the city was one of Europe's great centers of science, medicine, and philosophy. Inside an elegant home on Berggasse 19, one man was changing the way the world understood the human mind. His name was Sigmund Freud, and beside his famous couch sat an unexpected assistant, a Chow Chow named Jofi. Jofi wasn't trained as a therapy dog. She wasn't taught special commands. She simply had an extraordinary temperament: calm, patient, observant. Whenever Freud began a therapy session, Jofi quietly entered the room and lay beside the patient. At first, many patients were surprised. Why was there a dog during such personal conversations? But something remarkable happened. People relaxed. Instead of feeling intimidated, they focused on petting Jofi. Their breathing slowed. Their fear faded. Without saying a single word, Jofi helped people open up. Freud began noticing something unusual. Jofi behaved differently depending on the patient. If someone remained tense, she often kept her distance, but if a patient became calm, Jofi would quietly move closer. Freud believed the dog could sense emotional changes long before people realized them themselves.
Then came one of the strangest habits of all. Freud's therapy sessions usually lasted about 50 minutes. Without anyone telling her, Jofi often stood up near the end of the session. She calmly walked toward the door, almost as if she knew time was up. Visitors were amazed. Some joked that Freud owned the world's most reliable therapy clock.
Stories about Jofi spread among Freud's patients. Visitors from different countries spoke about the gentle Chow Chow. Some admitted meeting Jofi made them less afraid of therapy. Others remembered her years later, almost as clearly as they remembered Freud himself. During the 1930s, Europe was changing. Political tensions were rising. Austria faced growing uncertainty. But inside Freud's consulting room, Jofi continued greeting patients with quiet kindness. For many, she became the calmest part of a very uncertain world. In 1938, Nazi Germany annexed Austria during the Anschluss. As a Jewish family, Freud and his household were no longer safe. After intense international efforts, Freud, his family, and Jofi left Vienna. They escaped to London, England. It was the end of an era. Life in London was quieter. Freud was growing older. His health continued to decline. Yet Jofi remained close, as she always had, a silent companion, never demanding attention, simply present. Years later, researchers studying therapy animals looked back at Freud and Jofi. Although modern animal-assisted therapy developed much later, many historians see Jofi as one of the earliest well-documented examples of a dog helping people during psychotherapy. Without realizing it, she had helped inspire a whole new way of thinking.
Today, hospitals, counseling centers, schools, and rehabilitation programs around the world use therapy dogs. Thousands of dogs now comfort people every day. And among the earliest famous examples was one quiet Chow Chow, who simply lay beside a couch and listened.
Jofi never earned a university degree. She never wrote a psychology book. She never spoke a single word. Yet she helped people face fear,
find comfort, and share their deepest thoughts. Sometimes, healing doesn't begin with advice. Sometimes, it begins with the quiet presence of a dog. And more than 90 years later, the story of Jofi still reminds us that compassion doesn't always need words.